Good morning, everyone. Well, a much better chance of rain today in the northwestern half of the state. But tomorrow, a much better chance of rain in the southeastern half of the state as we deal with a very slow-moving cold front. So, let's break down both days for you in your hour-by-hour forecast, 8 a.m. this morning. Notice that the activity is probably going to be limited to the northwestern corner of the state. We're talking about isolated showers, maybe a couple of weak storms. Certainly no severe storms just yet. Notice there are gaps in activity, so even the northwestern part of the state, not a guarantee you're going to encounter rain for that morning commute. And notice how the rain just basically stays in the same spot the early afternoon. The chance of rain there for Sioux City, Fort Dodge, Mason City, even if you're in Waterloo, the chance of rain looking awfully small, and anywhere to the south and east of Waterloo, probably going to be staying dry. So this isn't the cold front just yet. It's actually stalled out just to the north and west of us. But in the late afternoon, it is going to start pushing in. And as it does so, we're going to see new activity pop up. And it's these storms that pop up in the late afternoon through the evening hours that could be severe. Before we get to the timing of those storms, let's talk about temperatures because, again, the front not arriving until the late afternoon in the northwestern part of the state, so we're talking about high temperatures today in the low to mid-90s with more humidity than yesterday, so you can add a couple of extra degrees to the temperatures, and that's what it's really going to be feeling like. As far as the wind situation goes, so catching a little bit of a break in the western part of the state, where it was real windy yesterday. We're just going to call it breezy today. However, for central and eastern Iowa, windy, guess 30, 35 miles per hour. So the severe threat begins 5 o'clock this afternoon and continues through the evening hours. But notice, we're not talking about widespread rain through the evening hours. It's probably going to be isolated activity. The problem is enough ingredients are there that the isolated storms that do pop up could produce damaging wind and hail. Here we are at 9 o'clock, so across the northwestern half of the state. By 1 a.m., the severe threat is going to be over with because the atmosphere is going to be stabilizing. So it's a window of 5 o'clock this afternoon until 1 a.m. tonight, mainly across the central and western part of the state, the southeastern corner of the state. Not concerned about the severe threat. What's interesting, though, is it's actually late tonight that our best chance of rain is. So after 1 a.m., look what happens. Look how the activity becomes much more widespread. Now we're talking about scattered showers and storms. And I do think there's still going to be storms around. We're not worried about damaging wind and hail anymore at 4 a.m. By the way, this might be finally when it begins to rain in the Quad Cities. There is a good chance that it could stay dry all day today and through the evening hours until late tonight in the Quad Cities. So, severe weather threat does not include Muscatine, Davenport, Moline, but Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, Fort Dodge, Sioux City, Mason City. So anywhere in the green or yellow, chance of severe storms. Most concerned about that shade of yellow. So greatest chance of severe storms, places like Fort Dodge, Mason City. What's the worst case scenario? Well, we are talking about isolated storms during the late afternoon and evening hours. So during that period, it's not even a guarantee you're going to see a storm, but the storms that do pop up could produce wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, up to quarter-size hail. And though the chance is very small, it's not zero. We could see an EF0 or EF1 tornado, particularly in that shade of yellow. Now, we've got to talk about Friday because this is the good chance of rain for the southeastern half state. So 8 a.m. in the morning, we're talking about scattered showers and weak storms. I'm not concerned about a severe weather threat for tomorrow, but chance of rain is there for the Quad Cities, Des Moines, Osceola, Burlington, and notice the opposite of the story today. Early afternoon tomorrow, dry in the northwest. Look at the rain chance continues across the southeastern half of the state. Late afternoon. Now that front, again, kind of temporarily stalling out again in southeastern Iowa. That's why the rain chance could be with us for much of the day, but it's going to start moving again. So I'm still going to keep a chance in there, homebound commute in the Quad Cities, but past the peak of the activity. A lot of folks drying out by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Notice how everyone is cooler tomorrow, especially with the clouds and rain. We may only be talking about high temperatures in the low 80s for places like Iowa City, Davenport. Warmer to the north and west where there will be a little bit more sunshine, but cooler. Not bad. We're talking about mid-80s probably in most spots. And not much wind anywhere tomorrow. Catching a break from the wind. Nowhere in the state is going to be much wind. Dinner plans, 7 o'clock Friday evening. Maybe still some leftover showers around the Burlington area, but for now, everyone else is looking dry.